Oh no.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
Yes. Computers.
We were really scared for a minute then.
It's just not cricket.
Gosh, the room looks massive.
It was county 10. Yes,
it's
well,
really
of course,
not massive.
as we established on Friday's show, we do live on the Titanic.
We do.
Yes.
Because we have a boiler room.
Can I just
hilarious is that? If you saw the boiler room, where am I supposed to be looking? Can I just ask?
At that camera.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Where would you like to look?
Well, the screen. I'm looking at the screen normally, aren't I? But that's not.
I don't think anyone would matter.
Look up there.
Oh, I'm going to look at the screen. Your eyes look great.
Do they?
Yes.
Sometimes my eyes look really blue.
Like today.
But I think they're more green. Dan
Oh,
always
don't
thinks
start.
that. Do you think they're blue or green?
Mine are definitely hazel or brown. I don't know.
We're all staring at you with wide eyes. Good morning, everybody.
So he just says, oh my goodness, they're looking at me.
It's a bit creepy, isn't it? Are you all well?
Oh
my gosh, it was so hot here yesterday. We thought we were going to expire.
Look, there's some people really struggling with serious heat.
Yeah, I know.
So
well,
please,
I know. I'm not making light of it. I absolutely feel for you. It's much cooler today here, thankfully.
It is much cooler. Look, we're just not used to it. We're tender wallflowers. I've got red hair. Kay's an English rose.
Yes.
And we don't like the heat. And yesterday, honestly, it was terrible. Thankfully for Kay, she was really tired.
I was really tired.
She went to sleep and was gone.
I managed to get to sleep.
I was just baking.
And the neighbours over there had music blaring until all hours.
So do you know what I did? I don't know why I thought of doing this. I don't even know how they ended up there. But I have these earplugs, which I used to use when I used to play live loud drums a lot to protect my ears. We now use them when we go to the cinema.
We do.
Because we can't
we can't handle the loudness of cinemas.
So they were on my bedside. Can you believe it? It was dark.
And you managed to find it's never really dark in the summer though, is it?
No, it's right.
I don't think
little tiny packet. I managed to find them, put them in my ears. But then I'm there with them in my ears, and I said to Kate, I mean, how stupid, you think these things. I thought, oh, what if I fall asleep and I lay on one and it disappears into my head?
Disappears into his head. He thought it would end up in his brain.
I was such a
You do have random thoughts, though, don't you, in the middle of the night?
I think when you don't have, you're right. When it's the middle of the night, you seem to lose a lot of rational thought.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, definitely. When you're not like in waking hours in normal environment.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. It's a strange one. What a show!
Trying to sit up straight.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, Florence Thompson. Hello. Your yarn's over here. Florence won the...
She did. I know who Florence is.
We
all know Florence.
Florence, I just saw your name pop up. I've just today wrote your address down on a piece of paper to send your yarn tomorrow. Florence won the Burrow Skein.
I'm not talking to April Flowers.
Why?
Because she's got a pool. I'd have done anything.
Yeah.
I'd have got on a plane and I don't want to fly. I would have flown to your house, April, and dived in your pool yesterday. It was that warm.
It was really warm.
There's nothing better, is there, when it's warm than disappearing under the water of a pool.
And we were travelling a lot yesterday. We went to see my mum yesterday, who's doing pretty well at the minute. She seems to be. She seems to be all right.
We took her out. We took her out for lunch.
We did take her out for lunch.
And she says we're pulling up, it's going to be busy. And Kay's like, it's really not.
I said it won't be because it's a hot day. People will be out. We
got into the restaurant.
Which was air conditioned.
And that's my whole point. My goodness, I was cold.
It was cold in there, but it was fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, it was great.
It really was fantastic. No, but
we were travelling a lot yesterday in the heat and it was all a bit rubbish.
The thing is, though, I said to you, and isn't it funny, I don't know if you guys think this too, but sometimes when it's warm, actually being in an air-conditioned car, because of course we don't have air conditioning here. And another thing that came up, because folks, if we want to talk about bites, something went to town on the side of my head.
He's now got bites. Look at that.
I've got bites all over the side of my head.
See how red it is all around. I did put some Germaline on it today, but it seems to have gone, the Germaline.
Yeah, I might have actually wiped it off by accident.
I did say to you, be careful because it's on the side of your head. I said,
she put it on the side of my head, and an hour later I'm thinking,
what smells?
Why can I smell Germaline? And then I
said, for goodness sake, don't wipe your eye.
No, I didn't.
With the Germaline. Oh.
But we don't have, because we don't have the issue, or we didn't have the issues where you had the heat which brought the bugs out.
No.
Houses here don't have mesh on the windows.
Screens. We don't have screens.
So bugs can just fly in and out. But perhaps a solution arrived.
Oh, we've just plugged
but
something
moments before the show began. I knew that would
Amazon,
happen.
who deliver on a Sunday, which we object to
Yes.
enormously.
We do,
just
but-
like a day off from deliveries,
Yeah.
please.
But I was actually, I mean, to contradict our views, I was actually quite pleased they came, because if they work, it's going to be phenomenal. Supposedly, I don't know if any of you have had experience of this, but I've read loads of reviews and they're all really good. It's an ultrasonic thing.
It's a plug-in thing.
You plug it in the wall, it lets out an ultrasonic sound, and it keeps the bugs away.
Yeah.
And also, I know this sounds silly, but it's humane because it doesn't kill them.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I know that sounds nuts,
Yeah,
but at least then that bug's got a chance for a happy life, or to be
Yeah.
food for a bird.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, speaking of food, I've been wanting to talk for literally about 4 shows
Really?
about what your perfect breakfast is.
Oh gosh, really?
Yeah, I've had it on the list. It's been on the list and it's always got bumped off on the main show. So I thought, do you know what? Let's bring it over to P.O.P.
breakfast? I love breakfast. I would eat breakfast 3 times a day if I could.
It is
yummy.
Yeah, it is most definitely the most important meal of the day. But it's taken me years to find the perfect breakfast.
Yeah.
And I now have.
Excellent. We don't have the same though.
We certainly don't have the same. Now look, Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict. Wow.
Vegetable
omelette
or
scrambled eggs on toast. Yeah, I'd go for that.
Talia doesn't like breakfast.
French toast. I've never had French toast.
What?
I've never had French toast.
You're insane.
Are you all shouting at me?
I'm shouting at you.
I need to make it. Do you just dip your bread in egg? And
Well,
then...
you made a sweet French toast in the pudding club.
It kind of was, I suppose, wasn't it? But is that all you do? You get bread and then you dip it in egg?
There's lots of different sort of ways of pulling it together. But
I've
in
no
a
idea.
nutshell, it's eggs all scrambled up. Dip your bread in.
Dip your bread in.
Into the pan. Fry it each side.
And do you have to put butter in the pan as well? Or...
Oh, yeah, a little bit of oil or butter, but I just put a tiny bit of fry light in.
Oh, porridge. Who said porridge? Who's for porridge for breakfast? Me. I have porridge every day, so does Bryony actually.
French toast with maple syrup.
Oh wow!
That's what they do in
Is
Quebec.
that what you do? Is that so? That's my other question, right? So you've made your French toast, and then do you put? Is that what you do? You put syrup on it,
Melissa
or do you just eat it like that?
Well, I used to put brown sauce on it.
Brown sauce.
Yeah, because it's eggs. It's fried eggs and bread.
Right.
Effectively, it's scrambled eggs and bread.
Does it taste like egg?
Yes.
It tastes like egg.
Yes.
Right.
It's
I
great.
don't know why I didn't imagine it tasting eggy for some reason, but it tastes eggy.
That's actually the reason why it's called eggy bread, Kay.
Eggy bread.
Yes.
Right. I need to make this. I think Bryony might like it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to love it.
I'm missing out. I'm clearly missing out.
Now, Talia, before we get on to what the perfect breakfast is, Talia has brought something up very, very close to my heart.
Yeah.
Who has enjoyed a cold slice of pizza? And when you enjoy, have you ever enjoyed a cold slice?
I've never had cold pizza.
Haven't you?
I don't think so.
You're crazy.
I don't
She's not had eggy bread or cold pizza.
I feel absolutely deprived.
Yes,
today.
you must definitely have.
I need to have cold pizza and eggy bread for my breakfast.
Cold pizza is really nice.
Is it?
Yes, definitely.
I know you used to get cold,
Don't
cold
say.
I won't say.
Were you going to say what I put on it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to say what you were going to put on it.
Now, everyone who enjoys cold pizza, I would tell you, must do what I'm about to tell you, because it's the most delicious thing in the history of the world.
They might not be able to access it.
Well,
you're going to have to find.
That's why it's even more fun.
You're going to have to find this product
it's
because it's the best thing in the world, and we grew up on it. I think I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, but you ridiculed me when I put it on my cold pizza.
I've never tried it, so.
But you were just joining in the ridiculing, then, weren't you? Well, also, while we're talking about Heinz sauces, could we just ask?
Well, you've not even said yet.
It's salad cream.
Salad cream.
Cold slice of pizza, salad cream on the top.
Heinz salad cream.
If you're feeling particularly hungry, get a second slice of pizza.
And put that on top.
Put it on top. Nice sandwich. Go.
I love salad cream. And I know that salad cream is probably not an ingredient. It comes in a jar. It's like a condiment, I suppose.
I think
it's not
more
something
people
that
look. Anne Hunt loves salad cream.
It's not salad dressing, Marlies. Well, it is a salad dressing, but it's not salad dressing in terms of things.
It is
like
a white tomato sauce.
It's not a vinaigrette or anything
it's like tomato
that.
sauce, but it's white.
It's a creamy white in colour, and it's the consistency of ketchup.
Yeah.
I'm making it sound really nice, aren't I?
Dirty devils.
Salad cream. It's not
ranch dressing. No.
No, it's
Deborah,
not ranch dressing.
I couldn't have ranch dressing on a pizza. That would be too much.
It's not like. I don't think it's like. It's not really like mayo.
No, not at all.
No.
No, mayo's rich.
Mayo is, I don't like mayo.
I could not have mayonnaise.
I don't like mayonnaise.
I can only have mayonnaise very rarely because it's too rich for me.
It's a bit too rich.
Salad cream is not like
is
that.
more acidic.
Yes.
Isn't it?
To me, it's just a white tomato ketchup.
It's sweet, but then it's also acidic as well.
Michelle, you are correct. It was invented during the war.
Michelle.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you okay?
Now, moving on from salad cream, which is the best.
I kind of need some lettuce now. Salad cream. Salad cream.
Throw your lettuce away.
Salads
Get a carrot,
for me growing up,
grated
carrot.
and put salad cream on it.
No, salads for me growing up
Shut the front door.
Just lettuce, cucumber and tomato. Who else grew up on salads like that? For my mum to make a salad, that was it. That's what you got.
And I said to her yesterday, it was yesterday, I did, it was, or the day before maybe, if you grate a carrot.
Oh yeah, grate a carrot.
But you said that was too glamorous.
Too glamorous for my mum to grate a carrot on a salad, I would have thought. Yeah.
Salad cream on grated carrot is one of the best things I've ever eaten. And
then what if you put that mixture on top of cold pizza?
Oh my goodness.
That'd be really nice.
Now, something that I absolutely adore, but Kay's not so bothered, is celeriac.
Oh, I can't stand it. I hate celery. I really, really loathe and detest raw celery. I don't mind it cooked in a stew, but raw celery I cannot stand.
When I was young, we used to go on holiday to Spain and we used to get in a jar celeriac. Yeah. It was like sauerkraut.
Right.
It was grated celeriac, but it's really long strands like spaghetti, and it was in like a vinaigrette.
Like a vinaigrette.
Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
It's sauerkraut, but made with...
It was with celeriac. I need this stuff. I'm pining for it. It's like there's something missing in my heart. If anyone knows, please let us know. I desperately need to get this. Now, we need to just find out if I am totally insane.
Well, yeah.
Is it wrong when you are eating spaghetti bolognese to put tomato ketchup on the top?
Me and Bryony just can't even look at him when he does it.
So, nice bowl of
spaghetti bolognese, and he puts tomato ketchup all over it.
Nice bit of
homemade.
Nice bit of parmesan.
I
made it.
You make it from scratch.
I wouldn't pour it on yours.
No.
Because it would look.
Ketchup on
parmesan, nice parmesan, and then all over the top, nice bit of tomato ketchup.
Disgusting.
Wrong.
Everybody's saying it's disgusting. See, everybody's saying you're crazy.
Yes,
and son
woo! Who does it?
Anne's son, I think it was.
Is it? And does your son do that?
Wrong, but I do it.
Yes. No, look, don't knock it till you've tried it. Seriously, you need to try this. It's unbelievable. It like brings it all together for me. The sweet acidity of the tomato ketchup.
Gosh, it just ruins something that you spent like an hour hand making beautifully, and then you just...
Doesn't ruin it, Kay. It makes it better.
It does not. Don't listen to him.
Now, I started this conversation and it was all to do with breakfast. Who brought up cold pizza? It was Talia.
It was Talia saying she has it for breakfast.
She took me off on
breakfast. What's your breakfast of choice these days? You didn't say. Mine's porridge. Love it. With a bit of brown sugar.
3 is the magic number for breakfast.
Right.
Okay. All my life I've struggled with breakfast.
Yeah, you don't like eating breakfast, do you?
I don't like eating any meal, but I particularly couldn't be bothered with breakfast, even though I knew it was really important. And really, when I got ill and stomach problems and all of that, that's when it's really you with the porridge that
I used to make you porridge.
It ingrained in me the importance of getting a good start for breakfast. Yeah. But still, it just used to bore me. I'd be bored. You know,
I could eat cereal and porridge 3 times every day.
So I would have those mini shredded wheat with some fruit on and some milk.
Mini shredded wheat. I love shredded wheat.
So I'd have mini shredded wheat, milk, fruit, bored.
Yeah.
I'd have Maltese, shreddies effectively.
They are, yeah.
Bored. I'd have muesli. Too many raisins.
Yes, far too many raisins in muesli.
And just too crunchy.
I'd have muesli and I'd pick out all the raisins because I just couldn't stand it.
Yeah, bran flakes. That to me feels like something your doctors told you to eat.
No, all
bran.
All bran is something like that, isn't it? All bran. Oh, that takes some eating, doesn't it? All bran.
But it's good for your insides.
It's very good. I know my mum used to say that. It's good for your insides.
Muesli is old people food. So what did I do? I combined all three.
I'm sorry, yeah. In America, you don't call porridge porridge. It's oatmeal, I think you call it, don't you? But,
so my journey to the perfect breakfast is 3 cereals and fruit.
Yeah, it has to have a combination.
One of those cereals is a muesli, and it's a small amount.
Yeah.
One of those cereals is normally shreddies or shredded wheat.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I like to play around.
Whatever's on offer, basically.
Whatever's on offer. So 3 handfuls with fruit on top. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I now look forward to my breakfast.
You always have like raspberries or strawberries, don't you?
I've got to say, I bought some strawberries the other day.
They were lovely, and they were.
They are the greatest strawberries I've ever eaten.
Because we've been getting Scottish strawberries, but do you know where these?
Nothing wrong with Scottish strawberries; they're very nice, but
these were from Yorkshire.
And I did not know. I did not know. I'm eating these strawberries. I'm like, these taste like someone's gone into a lab and said, we need to create the perfect strawberry.
The most strawberry.
So we go and look in the packet, and they're Yorkshire strawberries.
Yorkshire.
Now, I wonder if it's the miles they've travelled.
Well, it could be, because they come a long way really from Scotland, haven't they?
I just think the freshness.
Soft fruit especially doesn't really travel, does it? You've got to be careful with soft fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grape nuts.
What
are grape nuts?
What are grape nuts?
I have no idea what a
grape nuts. Is that a grape or is it a nut?
Or is it both?
Or is it both?
It's a grape and it's a nut. Gosh. Intriguing. Neil, we've discussed the perfect breakfast. We've spoken about the weather and the summer. It's time for us to have a little chat, okay, about the socks that you released on Friday.
Oh, right.
Because the response has been bananas.
It has.
And that's so lovely.
It's been very kind.
This for me was the first of the patterns which I recall. This felt like the start of it all to me.
It might have been the first. It might have been the first design actually that I knit or that I'd came up with in the series. I think
for the swish and flick.
Yeah, for the swish and flick. I think it might.
They're right there.
Oh, they're right here.
Hold them up.
I still can't bring myself to actually wear them. I've had to put them. Oh, my bunny blockers are the wrong way. I've had to put them on the bunny blockers because I've got some other socks blocking down there. Designed. Oh, you can't see. No, you can't see. It's okay. Yes, there they are. Oh, I think my nails need redoing now. So if they're a bit dodgy, I apologise.
It's been bonkers, actually. We had a message from YouTube this morning. We were trying to work out what the deal was. First time I've ever had a message from YouTube saying, "Wow."
Yeah.
Every time we recommend your video, more people seem to be clicking on it. Yeah. And it said either the title, something else, or the thumbnail seems to be attracting people. And the title is the Bakery Bears. I think the edition was episode, obviously, 128. So it's just the thumbnail. So their socks seem to be attractive.
So just love, such a lovely response from everybody. Really,
so thank you.
Really, thank you so much, everyone. It was really positive and kind of always takes me aback a bit, I think, because I'm always completely terrified when I put a pattern out.
Yeah.
I'm completely terrified for lots of reasons, for thinking that it might be complete rubbish and nobody will like it. And then I'm thinking, although, everything's been thoroughly testing it, I'm always worried that I've missed something on the pattern or, something's not quite right. Or, I just have lots of anxieties over everything. So I'm always thrilled when people actually finish one of my designs. Quite a few people have finished the burrow wrap now. So I kind of can breathe a little bit because I'm thinking, right, okay, lots of people have knit it now. It must all be okay. I don't know whether every designer sort of worries like that, but I tend to.
I think that the thing which I think is so good about you and your designing something, and I always say this to you, and to be fair, I say the same to Bryony when she's like talking about tests and stuff at school. So long as, I think with regards to a design, so long as every decision that you've taken has been for the benefit of creating a wonderful design.
Oh, yeah.
Then it sort of doesn't matter whether people love them or not, so long as you've been true to yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I guess so. And, I
bet you, Picasso, didn't think, will people like this?
Well, I always think, will people like this? This is always in my first thought is, will people enjoy knitting this?
Now, that is important.
That's always my first thought,
That's different then to what people are attracted to.
That is different, because sometimes you can get an absolutely fantastic looking pattern.
You quite often.
But it can sometimes either be tricky to knit, or a bit tedious, or takes forever, or for whatever reason.
Are you describing the shift?
Oh, can I tell you something? I finished it. I finished it yesterday, and I finished it Friday. I finished it Friday because we record on a Wednesday, when, you know, because that's when I said I hadn't finished it. I finished it Friday. It blocked yesterday, and then when we got home from Mum's yesterday, I seamed it up. It's finished. I could show if you like.
Where is it?
It's up there.
Go get it, woman.
It's there. Look, I can see
okay.
it. Shall I? It's there.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's some socks on top, but
that's okay.
It's there. Oh my gosh.
What?
Right, you need to move that pile of stuff. That's the rest of the swish and flick. Don't look at this pile there where Danny's. Oh my gosh, I forgot that was there. That's all the other swish and flick stuff.
No one knew until you said.
You can still see it. You're going to have to put it like there. Everybody's like, hide it behind. Do you like my new basket thing? There, look. And that's got another design in it. That's got another design in it, that basket. But it's hiding everything. It's hilarious. Oh gosh, oh no, he's all falling on the floor now. Oh, I don't know what he's doing.
I'll block them.
No, it's fine. You can't see it there. Watch your head on that desk.
Okay.
For goodness sake.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
So yes, it's finished. So I'll give you a little sneak peek. I'll obviously be showing this.
Do you want to put it on?
I will put it on. I'll be showing you this on the next podcast. But
so
look,
warm.
It's all finished.
Wow, it is beautiful.
And that's where you seam it. It's quite big, everyone.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. It is lovely. But it's definitely not something I could wear when it's not really cold, because there's a lot of fabric going on around here, and it's lovely, isn't it? Lovely.
It's gorgeous.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
That bit's flipping up a bit. It's got a 2-colour I-cord bind off, which is lovely. It's really nice. Took quite a while to do, but worth it, I think. But it is kind of flipping a bit like that. But, you know, under a coat, because it'll be under a coat, won't it, more often than not? Then.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I think it's lovely. I'm really pleased with it. So very happy to get it done. So I'll be going into detail, showing it you on the next podcast. But
did you feel a tremor in the force just then?
I felt the floor vibrate when you were jumping up and down.
It's because Vanessa's just arrived.
Is she?
Yes.
Vanessa, where is she? Where I can't see. Oh,
Vanessa loves muesli.
Muesli. I do like muesli.
I misread that for a second. I thought it said mussels for breakfast.
Gosh, that'd be a bit much for breakfast, wouldn't it?
It would indeed. Now that was. I mean, that is the epitome of a project which looks great,
yes,
but is painful to get.
Well, some people would, you know, and I think a lot of people enjoyed knitting this because it's been knit a lot. I think this, and I've seen loads of people say they really enjoyed it. But I guess you don't know. I'm always completely honest about something. I hope you realise that by now. You know, and if it's been
perhaps they do.
If it's been a bit of a thing to knit, I will tell you it's been a bit of a thing to knit. But I think sometimes some people might maybe not say.
Yeah, it's just you know, there's different types of people, and it's all great. It's all really good. You know, there's lots of really sort of people who feel like they should just be really positive about everything.
Yes, which is
that's
great.
Cool. But the most important thing to us is that if we knit something that we love, you know that we've loved it. Yeah. And if we knit something we didn't love, you know we didn't love it. And that way then it helps you make an informed decision as to what you might like to knit. Because one of the things that used to frustrate me when I used to watch more shows with you was the fact that everyone loved everything. Well, how am I supposed to know what works and what doesn't work? Yeah. So that's the reason why
it's tricky.
It's the reason why we do the reviews in the way that we do them, where we buy everything and, you know, we review it really honestly. And it's, you know, the same reason really why we always talk honestly about.
We do.
I mean, I was fairly scathing about the Alaska hat, but now I've taken it all back because it's just great.
Lovely. Yeah.
You know, but again, I think it's really cool to see that process flow through from the I've got no idea what's going on to I've got it, because I wonder if loads of people, you said you'd read comments on that hat, and loads of people had said you need to knit through.
You do. Loads of people have said with the Alaska hat, you need to keep going, and
so
then
they must have been having.
Then you'll suddenly be able to see the trees.
They must have been having the same thoughts.
They saw the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think.
They must have been having the same thoughts that you had, which meant you stopped, and the same thoughts that I had.
I know,
but
and I really wish I'd carried on now. I feel bad that I didn't carry on.
I said to Kay in the car yesterday, it's really funny with the Alaska because I've gone from not enjoying the process and not wanting to knit it to not enjoying the process and really wanting to knit it. And it's the first time I've ever done a project really where I felt quite so strongly that way. And that's sort of how you felt with that all the way through.
I love the finished thing, and I really wanted the finished thing. And I enjoyed knitting probably half of it, but I just got to that point where I thought, I've done this and you're telling me I've got to do it 6 more times. And it just, when I realised I'd got to do it, 5 or 6 more times, then I was like, oh, you just feel that sort of sense of dread, don't you? But I'm thrilled to have it finished. I just did it. I did what Scully told me to do. I don't know if Scully's here, but she told me just to do like a few rows every day and then put it down. And that's exactly what I did. And it worked, and it wasn't too painful doing it that way.
Now, you started something there, which we spoke about quite a few episodes ago. It's a long time ago. Yeah. Very interesting, though, that Yvonne, Lady Moon 1977 from Australia.
You see, we don't say that, Yvonne.
There are two. We found this out.
Versions of that saying.
I'd never heard you can't see the forest from the trees. I've never heard that before. And we said it on a show ages ago, and someone said, we looked it up, and it turns out in the UK, it's you can't see the wood from the trees. And in other parts of the world, it seems it's different.
Yeah.
How interesting is that?
Yeah.
Now,
yes.
Also, with the old Whispers in the Walls came the next part of Clementine's story. And do you know what?
Did you like it?
Well, I just wanted to touch on this a little bit because it's sort of writing itself, which is just wonderful.
Did you work out what house she was in? Because you can work out what house she was in from the next bit of a story that's on there. So if you're an avid Harry Potter fan, you will have worked out what house she's in.
Yes, from the position of her dormitories.
Yes.
It's a big clue.
So I really hope some people saw that.
I'm sure they will have done.
Yeah.
And Kay actually held me back. I was getting too excited.
Yeah.
But don't say
he was giving something away, and I said, you can't do that yet. You can't do that yet. It's too early.
There's a whole story arc for this.
Yeah.
It's all there already.
He's like J.K. Rowling, He's planned it all out because she knew exactly what all the books were going to be like, didn't she, right from the start?
Yes, I know as well.
It's pity you're not making her money, isn't it, really?
It's just too exciting.
It's
been just, it's nerve-wracking though, because I write it and then I show it to you and I'm like, oh goodness.
But the only things I tweak is sometimes grammar.
Yes.
And just changing the wording a little bit.
Yeah.
But Leah has just said, are we going to publish the story? Now we are doing something.
Yes.
Where
what are you saying?
I'm thinking about it. The whole story will be available to read.
And also something else.
Also be something else. And that'll be coming out in December at the end when the whole, the club finishes November, end of November. Yeah. And then this something will be coming out in December.
Yeah.
And this something will allow you to read the whole story.
And also
there'll be something else. Is that vague enough? Does that give you enough non-detail?
Crazy.
Yes.
Neil, look, that's enough swish and flick, because I got, it's very funny. One of the first comments on the show on Friday was 15 minutes 48. Tell us what you really think, Dan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Look,
the sweets.
I am genuinely upset about the whole Tutti Fruttis thing. And I apologise for becoming quite passionate.
We've got to get over it, I suppose, haven't we?
We're going to try and get over it.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and get over it. And also, while we're just starting to talk about this, I'd love to know from any of you, what is people having? Did it go for a bit? It looks like some people lost things for a bit. Hopefully not too much.
Oh, gosh.
Sounds like a network problem in our region.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing. The great the great thing is, folks, remember, if you do lose it when it's broadcasting live, when the recording gets published, you will be able to access all of it.
Yeah.
You won't then lose it again when you watch it back. So if ever it does drop off, it is because it's live. But no, this section, it's called Sweet Memories. Do you like that?
Did it take you a long time to think of that? Are you proud of that little
That's
title?
called producing. Of course, Sweet Memories, it doesn't work in any other country other
Why
than here.
didn't we think of that when we were doing the sweetie thing?
That's true.
That would have been such a better title than whatever we thought.
What's in your sweetie jar?
Oh, yeah.
Look, Sweet Memories. In America, you might say candy memories. In Australia, you might say lolly memories.
That's difficult to say.
Yes. Now, Tutti Frutti's big part of my childhood. But what were the sweets of your childhood? Because for me, it was Tutti Frutti's. It was cola cubes.
You can still get cola cubes, I think, in like traditional sweet shops.
Yeah.
I've seen cola cubes.
Yeah. Things that you definitely can't get, which we've spoken about at length before, is my go-to sweet always when I was young was those fruit pastils, Lions fruit pastils, which they stopped doing.
Yeah.
Also, as well, I used to love the sherbet dibs. The yellow things.
Sherbet fountain, you can still get those.
I know. Look, we're just talking about sweet memories. What were the sweets you enjoyed when you were young? Also,
shrimps, I used to love those, and I think you can still get foamy shrimps. You know, they're like foamy sweets, and then the shape of a shrimp. I
want to know why people called sugar kali.
Kali? It was always called kali when I was growing
up. Never for me.
It's not really sherbet. Kali wasn't as... Kali was just like sugar. Imagine a bag of sugar, coloured and flavoured. That's really what kali was.
Yeah.
And I think sherbet's a bit finer, isn't it? It's more like a powder.
Dots on paper?
Hey?
Mary Jane's? I thought Mary Jane's were shoes. We need educating.
Paper. What's this? Is it paper and you have to... You lick off the dots or something?
Pixie sticks.
Coconut mushrooms. I love coconut mushrooms too. Sugar babies. Is that like jelly babies or is that something different?
They must be, mustn't they? Sugar babies must be jelly babies. Are they like
pixie sticks? What
chewy,
on earth are pixie sticks?
Are sugar babies like babies made of jelly?
Like ground up Smarties. Is that dots on paper? Oh,
no,
right.
pixie sticks.
Oh, what? And you eat the paper as well? Or is that like, pixie sticks?
Oh, it's all getting too confusing.
It is getting
Pineapple cubes, love those. Sour apples, love those. Cola cubes, yes. Sherbet dabs, yes. Lemon drops, yes. Glucose sticks.
Glucose sticks?
I think the doctor prescribed those for me once.
Rainbow drops. You can still get rainbow drops.
Never had those.
You don't like rainbow?
I never had them.
It's like...
red licorice whips.
Freckles.
Yes. I've got freckles.
Yeah. Whiz Fizz. Wow.
You pull the dots off the paper. Ha. Jolly Ranchers, we tried those. They're interesting. They've got interesting flavours. They're like hard sweets.
Oh, they're like polos. No.
I think there was some like that.
Right.
I think. But then what was that whole thing that we did when we were trying the sweets where there's ones that tasted from Australia of perfume? Musk.
Oh yeah.
What's the deal with those?
They were like in a refreshers tube.
Yes.
And they did just taste like perfume, musk flavoured sweets.
Grey Nomad Knits, we are talking about fave lollies. Anyone else in the world who doesn't know what she's talking about, she means favourite sweets or favourite candy.
Right.
Yes. Now, look, we're here to back up.
A little bowl prepared.
Because we spoke about in the show, in episode 128, we obviously spoke about the disappearance of Tutti Fruttis. Yeah. And we did some research, and actually Tutti Fruttis were a Macintosh sweets. That was a maker of sweets in York before I was born, actually. They were bought out by Rowntree's, became Rowntree Macintosh. Yeah. They did Tutti Fruttis, and they also did mint Tutti Fruttis.
I would have walked a long way to have a mint Tutti Frutti.
I know. And then, of course, Rowntree's get bought out by Nestle, and the rest is history. Yeah. They axe Tutti Fruttis. Yeah. So we are going to try and find some Tutti Frutti replacements, which we'll do in just a moment. But in the course of the show, Kay also spoke about
jelly tots.
Jelly tots.
Right, okay.
And she spoke about how jelly tots are no longer jelly. She said that jelly tots now look like they're more like the dolly mixture.
Can you see there? You can see them there. This is jelly tots that you buy now, and can you see how they're more like dome shaped? They didn't used to be like that. They were flatter, weren't they? And small, a little bit smaller,
more
and
chewy.
A bit harder. Yeah,
They're more jelly now.
They're more like this is like one from a Dolly Mixture bag, which is much taller.
Does everyone know what Dolly Mixtures are? Because I brought another Dolly Mixture there, so you could show people.
It's like a bag of sort of randomly sort of sweets. That's another Dolly Mixture. You hate Dolly Mixtures, don't you?
The only Dolly Mixture bits that I like, and I don't like them very much, are the jelly ones.
Yeah, they do another one like this, but it's got like a brown chocolate top. They're
disgusting.
horrible.
They also did the orange ones, which are all right.
Orange ones are all right, yeah.
So,
so that's a jelly tot,
yes.
and so they're just not as tottish as they used to be. They're just not.
This is like a fine wine show now.
I know.
They're not as tottish.
So that's jelly tots.
Now,
and then
we spoke about Haribos.
We've got some Haribos.
Yeah, and what I wanted to do.
What's the bag called? Star Mix. I presume you must. It's called Star.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
The bag of Haribos is Star Mix. So these are like 2 examples of. Everybody knows what these are like, don't they?
But what I wanted to do was I wanted to demonstrate to the world why Haribos are rubbish and why the sweets which they've effectively replaced. Now the way to tell if you have got a good cola bottle is by its texture. If the cola bottle is like a Haribo cola bottle, where it's very rubbery.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
Rubbery.
And, it pulls back. Look, it's pulled back into shape. That's insane. I don't believe it should do that.
Well, it's the gelatin, isn't it?
It is. Too much gelatin.
A lot of people won't eat them because of the gelatin.
A quality cola bottle does that.
Yes.
You can pull that apart.
And it's much harder, isn't it?
Much harder. Must have less gelatin in it then.
Must do, yeah, must do.
And the taste difference is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You will not get cola bottles like this from very many places. The only supermarket I'm aware of that you can get them like this is Asda.
Asda, I got those from.
Every other British supermarket, they're like the Haribo ones.
The Haribo ones.
And I'm telling you, it's cheaply made.
Well, they must
I'm certain of it.
They must be.
I'm certain of it.
Yeah.
You can get the absolute best cola bottles are, what's the bonbons?
Oh, the manufacturer. Yeah, that's the company that produced them.
I think it's a small,
yeah,
indie company.
And I think
really.
it's in Yorkshire somewhere.
Oh, that's so good.
It's terrible. You're not as bad with sweets as you used to be. No. You used to eat tons of sweets, and you don't so much really anymore.
It's when I was drumming a lot.
Yeah.
I would drum a lot under heavy lights, and you would need a hit of sugar. Your body would be calling for something. So I would always have some sweets there that I would throw down, which was sort of bad.
It would have been better to have a banana, quite frankly, but
It's not very rock and roll. Now, look at this.
Now.
I'm in the shops the other day.
Yes.
I tell you, I nearly fell over. I knocked people out the way trying to get to these.
We found these Starburst minis unwrapped. And look, they look a bit like Tutti Fruttis. So Dan was very excited. Bryony loves Starburst. Opal fruits.
They are made to make your mouth water.
Starburst in this country used to be called opal fruits, and really, I still call them that.
That's because that's what they are.
They're opal fruits.
Just like a Snickers is a marathon.
It's a marathon.
Yes.
Snickers is not a Snickers, it's a marathon.
Yes, correct.
Yes. And they look like
they look like Tutti Fruttis.
They're all different colours. Shall I hold the bag up? Look, can you see?
That is a Tutti Frutti.
And you have lemon and lime, blackcurrant, strawberry and orange. And they're little square sweets, and they're very nice.
They are delicious. The only downside is they do not have a hard shell.
No.
But I've got to the bottom of the reason why they probably don't have and never will have a hard shell. And that's because
of those.
Mars also make these.
Fruit Skittles.
Now, I remember when Skittles are chewy in the middle, taste a rainbow of fruit flavours. I remember when Skittles came out, and I remember, and I'm not fibbing now, I remember my mum getting me a bag of these, and I had one, and I said, I want some Tutti Fruttis.
Oh.
Because they're half the size, or they feel like half the size, and also the flavour. It's
not
just
the same.
It's not the same. I mean, everyone knows what a Skittle is. I've not had a Skittle, I think, since that day.
Right.
I don't recall. Do you know what it's pill like?
Well, they're shaped like pills, aren't they?
It feels like I've got a headache and I'm taking something for it. And it's a bit lemony. I mean, it tastes okay.
They're okay. Bryony quite likes Skittles.
I don't think she'd had them for a while, had she?
No, she hadn't, because we never buy them. We don't really buy Skittles at all, do we?
No. So we have potentially something which is going to half fill that void.
Starburst minis are very nice. So if you can find those, they're really nice.
But if anyone comes across anything remotely similar to Tutti Fruities, I would explode if you let us know. I would be unbelievably happy because I
don't like apple flavoured sweets very much. I'd rather have it lime. Bev's just said.
So Tutti Fruities are cool fruits. I don't know what a cool fruit is.
I don't know what a cool fruit is. No.
I tell you, the other thing that I really want to get hold of, because I used to love these, is the soft mints. Just spoke to you about the other day.
You can get soft mints still.
I really want to get some.
Well, they're in the shop.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go. See you later. I love a soft mint.
You can get soft mints.
That's sort of a bit Tutti Fruity-ish.
It is.
Especially if you get one with a harder shell.
Maybe that's what mint Tutti Fruities used to be
I bet you they were.
Let's imagine it.
And maybe we spoke about posh bread and butter pudding being the mother of rice pudding. Perhaps the Tutti Frutti was the mother of soft mint.
Soft mint.
Delicious. Yeah. Now, sweet memories. And I'm sad that they are sweet memories because it honestly was just my all-time favourite sweet. But we move on. We move upward. And
Things
we move on.
Stay the same.
We move on to the top 5 patterns of all time.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
Has anybody been having a think?
They were talking about it before the show started.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So
I wrote mine down.
Shall I unveil?
Unveil?
Shall I unveil my first? Now, I thought long and hard about this.
Mine are in no particular order. I'm like, what program is that where things come in no particular order? And actually, it is an order. We all know it is. Oh, it's who's getting booted off on Strictly.
I wish they'd do it.
In no particular order.
I think that's
it always is an order.
Do it in the order.
Yeah.
Do it in the
highest
order.
To lowest.
Highest to lowest.
Yeah.
Please. I don't know why they don't do that.
I know.
Because what would happen is, anyway, more people would vote for the people who were lower down the week after.
Yes.
But also, I think it's fairer to the contestants to know if you came second from bottom, you've done something wrong.
So you want to know to improve for next time, don't you?
Absolutely. It would be like giving out GCSE marks in no particular order.
Yeah.
Well, of course there's an order.
Yeah.
So top 5 patterns all time.
Loads of favourites coming out.
Now, what we're talking about here are patterns that absolutely float your boat in every possible way.
Yes. You've knit multiple times that you really like, or that you just loved when you knit it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patterns that you know will be part of your knitting vocabulary for who knows how long.
Yeah.
So
what have you got?
It's hard for me. It's hard for everybody. But I'm going to start with the Samantha.
Really?
The jumper that I knit last year for Nana Wendy.
The lilac one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't remember who designed it. I feel terrible now.
I can't remember either.
Yeah, I'll put it in the notes. I'll put it in the show notes.
It might come back to me while we're sat.
Yes. But there was nothing, I don't recall any issues with that pattern, Kate.
No, I don't think we had any. No, I don't know.
There was no issues at all.
No.
And at no point was I even remotely bored.
No.
And everything that I was knitting was unbelievably great fun and looked lovely. And it was just an all-round.
It was a lovely jumper.
And I learned a lot from knitting it.
Yeah, it just came out a lot smaller than you anticipated. Hence why Nana Wendy ended up with it. It worked out really brilliantly well, to be honest, because we do try and give us something hand knit, don't we, every Christmas, Christmas or birthday, and we hadn't really got anything last year. And then this just turned out too small. Sadly, it was too small for me because I'm just not that small. Let's not talk about that.
Oh, stop it.
And Nana Wendy's very tiny. She's a tiny little lady.
So definitely my first one is the Samantha.
Yeah.
What's your first one?
My first one, actually, we've spoken about it already.
Oh, no, that's cool.
I'd put these socks on there. Because
she genuinely adores those socks.
Yeah.
She adored every minute of creating them. And it was like the design was already done. It was like, do you know what I mean? The speed you created.
Do you know, I sometimes design things. These are an example. And I'll design it and do you know what I've started doing? You're all going to be absolutely astounded and amazed when I tell you this. I actually chart things. That's how I initially design now. Are you all falling off your chairs?
I think I need to take a certain amount of credit for this.
Why?
Because I think I've helped in your acceptance of charts.
No, you haven't.
I think that's right. Because the first times you sat down to do charts, we did it together.
We did do it together, yeah. We did do it together.
And it was my positivity around charts. Give me something to hold on to.
I think the reason I kind of do it that way now is that you can actually chart something out much quicker than you could handwrite something out. And also it's a picture, isn't it, of what you're going to knit, which I know and it's easier as well for sizing, for working out the sizes. It's much easier, because I can just draw a chart for a sock, for example. I know it has to fit that number of stitches, that number of stitches, that number of stitches, so I can chart it for all different sizes, and I find it much easier. But like these socks, I'd charted them out, and I'd got like the front chart, and I didn't chart the back. There is a chart for that back needle now, because that one of my testers suggested that, so I put that in. But I charted out the front, and
it's like learning a language, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be knitting through it, and then I'll suddenly think to myself, how did I come up with this idea? And it's a good job, because every time I come up with an idea, I have to write it down. I've got several pattern books. I'll jot something down, or I'll draw a picture, or I'll do something, because my train of thought will move on. And I could have just forgotten all about this if I'd not actually written it down. I mean, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yes.
Because my brain sometimes gets ahead of itself.
Yeah.
So, and it was a combination of things with this. It was, the twisted stitch part, the sort of snake part bit. I found the sort of technique of doing that in a stitch dictionary, and then I just changed sort of the stitch count. And then the lace panel portion was, again, it was a stitch dictionary, but it didn't look like this. I changed it to make it look more zigzaggy.
Yeah.
And then just put the two together and made it fit 3 sizes. So
that's your first one.
Yeah, so that's my first one.
Cool.
Yep.
So my second one it's hard, but I'm going to say, it's really difficult because I can't say 2, because you can only say 1. It's like when you ask Bryony, what's your top?
She can never tell you her favourite anything is. I'll give you my favourite 3.
I want to say the speargrass,
right,
but I'm going to have to say the bankhead.
Right,
the reason why I want to say the speargrass is I think that was a key moment in my knitting journey, because prior to knitting that, which I only knit because Robin beat me in knit or forfeit.
Yeah, that's true.
So I only did lace because that was my forfeit. I never would have done it, and I never would have known the joy of knitting lace, which is marvelous. But I think that it's either my knitting or the design is slightly off, because every one of those I've ever knit is a bit tight.
Right. Yes, that's right.
It doesn't seem to have enough room in it. So the bankhead was the moment really when knitting became a big thing for me.
Yeah, and you knit loads and loads.
And I've knit them since, and I would knit it again. So by default, I think the bankhead has to be in there. So my second one definitely is the bankhead. What is your second one?
My second one is the Stash Buster shawl by Heather Haynes.
Lovely Heather Haynes.
By lovely Heather Haynes. I've knit 2, haven't I? Or have I only knit 1 and I've got another one on the needles? I can't remember now. But anyway, it's just a brilliant little shawl. It comes out a great size. You only need 1 skein of yarn. It's really nice to knit. It ticks so many boxes for me.
Yeah.
It's simple but effective.
Yeah.
You can choose one of that, your precious skeins of yarn and have it and round, it fits around your neck lovely. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant pattern.
That's cool. And she's such a lovely lady.
And she's a lovely lady as well.
It's a win-win, really.
Yeah.
So it's now getting all the tougher.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to go with the Solia.
The Solia, right.
And that's shocking, because there are issues with that pattern.
Yes.
But the
We
finished
had a couple of
article,
issues. Nothing major.
the thing is, once you've knit it once,
Yeah.
I'd be able to knit it again and not have a problem.
Yeah, the sleeves were way too long on the Soldier that Dan knit, and it's wearable. You know, I've worn it on the podcast,
But they're just,
it's not.
right.
They come way past the end of my fingers, and we just don't know how that happened. We still can't.
I've spoken to a lot of people who've had
you?
similar problems.
Right, and normally with a,
I think an experienced garment knitter would just know.
Yeah, I know.
And I now know more, and I now know what I need to do.
I'm not very massively experienced either with garments, but I think if the sleeves had been plain, it wouldn't have been an issue because you could have just cuffed it. But the sleeves weren't plain; they're all over lace, and then you just had this little cuff, didn't you?
Which is cool, and it brings the whole design together. But it means you can't cuff
it. And it had like a sort of balloon sleeve down here, so it just wasn't cuffable, really.
The design, I love the design though.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
It looks so stunning to look at,
lovely.
and you look so lovely in it.
I know. I loved the top. I loved the way it looked.
So,
and I will still wear it on the podcast again when it's cold because
I need to knit another.
It's a really nice jumper.
Yeah, and you look. I mean, it does look great. The colours just suit you.
You know, and the sleeves were knit bottom up, weren't they?
So
I guess
I could have stopped. I could have done what I've done.
Oh yeah, I know. They were you just knit too long this way, but to think about whether it would be fixable because the sleeve is all over lace.
And also, I'd messed with the pattern.
It'd be really difficult because, again, what you could do if you'd knit it too long is a lot of people just chop off the sleeve, pick up the stitches, and just finish off the rib then. But because it's lace and you're knitting in the other direction, I think it'd be really tricky to do.
I'm just going to.
And it'd probably end up a complete disaster.
I loved it anyway, so I'll just do another. And I missed out one of the colours anyway on the middle of flowers. So.
Oh, you did, yeah.
So I'll fix that next time. Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is, and I've only knit one pair of these, but I loved them and I really wanted to knit more, and it's the Cinder Smoke mittens.
Oh, they're great. I know those.
I knit a load of mittens. It wasn't last year, was it? Was it last year? For last Christmas? It might be. Yeah, so it's the Cinder Smoke mittens by Kalura Hudson. It's on my project page if you want to see.
That sounds like a name that Phoebe uses.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? They were just the loveliest mittens, and they were knitting a chunky weight. So they knit up really quickly, and they were just brilliant mittens. And I really want a pair for myself. I gave them away. They were a Christmas gift, the ones I knit. Yeah. But they were really lovely knit. The pattern was great. Chunky weight, it was quick. It was a really great knit. Yeah. So I definitely recommend that if you want to knit some mittens for this winter. Yeah. I would really recommend that pattern. And I think there's a matching hat as well.
Yeah, there is.
Right.
Yeah. Look at me go.
Yeah, I mean, you're very good. Who is he?
Worrying. What's my next one? We're down to the last two. And it has to be the design which showed me that actually I like sometimes to knit socks.
Right.
And that's the Thomasina socks.
Oh, gosh.
From the Miss Potter
And can I just tell you, the Thomasina out of the three... Oh, and I've got something to tell you. The Thomasina out of the three patterns in that Miss Potter Sock Club, that was the one that I was least confident about. And only because I just thought this is too simple. It's way too simple. And, there's not enough. It's not enough of a design.
Karen Potter wants you to spell it.
Spell it?
Yes. She said, can you spell it, Kay?
Oh, no. What do you want me to spell?
Sorry.
That's a very old joke, isn't it?
That's terrible.
I'm not sure what she wants me to spell. Was it Kalura? Just tell me again, and I will spell it for you, Karen.
Spell it anyway.
Oh, Cinder. Yeah. Cinder Smoke. Oh, you spelt it.
Yeah, you've done it. You spelt it.
That's how it's spelt, Karen, but it's all one word. So Cinder Smoke mittens. I'm sure if you key that in, that it should come up. What was I saying?
You were talking about Thomasina and how that was the pattern that you were least confident in.
It was, because I just thought, as I said, it was too simple. Yeah, right. Yeah, I loved knitting them. Yes. Because I knit those on holiday in the Lake District last year.
Yes.
And I absolutely loved knitting those socks.
Sometimes less is more.
Well, exactly. So,
and if you think about it, I am the most, when it comes to things, I get bored faster than anybody.
Yeah.
So, and I love knitting those socks.
But I ummed and ahed, and several times I thought, no, these aren't going in the collection because there's not enough going on. And then in the end,
you're crazy.
Well, I spoke to my test knitter, Sarah at Hepworth in particular. I asked her and I said, look, do you think these are good enough to go in the collection? And she said she really enjoyed knitting them and thought that, you know, it was fine to go in. So I was brave and I put them in.
Yeah.
So, and now you're saying that, I think it's great. You
I
know,
love it.
that's really cool.
And next time I'm going to do the Peter ones.
Peter?
Yes.
Yeah, they're really nice. There's some up there on Bryony's bed upstairs. She got them out, I noticed earlier.
Next, because we're running short of time.
Oh, well, I needed to just tell them something. Oh, right, okay.
Tell them that in a minute.
Okay, I'll tell you that in a minute. The fourth one is Susie Rogers' Reading Mitts.
Oh, yes.
By Susie Rogers.
Yes.
And it's Rogers without a D, so it's Rogers. I've knit 7 pairs of these mitts. They're fingerless mitts. They've got like I've done a tutorial.
Yes, and look,
it's a free pattern.
We've learnt a lot with regards to filming things.
Oh, is it not a brilliant
Because I've re-edited it and we re-released it and published it for the first time on Patreon. So it's been out on Patreon fairly recently, but it was the weirdest tutorial I've ever looked at in my life.
Was it?
Yeah, because
we did it ages ago.
Because you did part 4 first.
Did I?
Yeah, it was really weird. And I couldn't work it out for a while. And so I reordered it. So part 1 became part 4. And I did the intros to it all and reordered the whole thing and everything was fine. But they are phenomenal.
But it's a great pattern and again, brilliant for gift knitting. Quick. Everybody I think everybody could use a pair of fingerless mitts, couldn't they?
Yes.
So great pattern.
What's my last one? My last one.
I
love this pattern.
I've just seen it.
I love this pattern. And you know why. And you sing it all the time. But it's tremendous. And it's the Cascades by Michelle Wong.
Yeah.
What's your last one?
My last one is, and I've got to have this on, it's my Bits and Bobs blanket. Sorry, I know it's another one of mine. But
you love it.
I love it. And I'm knitting a second one, which is up in one of those bags up there. I'm pointing. See, no.
In the bedroom?
No, where my finger is on the screen. Oh, ignore it. So yeah, I just love it. I love it. It's just one of my favourite things ever, and I love knitting the first one. It's got such really lovely memories attached to it when I was knitting it, and you know, I've seen how much other people love it as well, and that just sort of re-emphasises the love of it. I think that I love to see other people enjoying things that I've designed. That's the best thing for me. Yeah.
That is our top 5 patterns of all time, and it's been wonderful.
Hermione's Every Day has been very, and I nearly put Hermione's Every Day on there. Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
But I just knew that it would be one of those that everybody had as a favourite.
You have an announcement to make?
I just wanted to tell you one little thing actually, and I said to Dan, "Gosh, I don't think I've mentioned this to the patrons yet on a pop." Just talking about the Miss Potter Club from last year. Just wanted to let you all know that I'm working on a number 2 Miss Potter sock club, and it's, look at this bag that I've got it in. Is this not the most beautiful bag ever? And it's got velvet on the bottom and velvet on the top and beautiful Peter. And Jules sent me this last year, I think it was sometime. And she said to me, it's a ridiculous size. I don't know what you'll do with it, but I just thought you'd like it because of the sock club. And I said, Jules, I love it. So all of the designs for the next Miss Potter sock club I've been working out of here. And they're all, 2 of them are halfway done. The other one is almost on the needles. So it'll be, I'm hoping the autumn that should be coming out. Yeah.
She's well on with it.
So really excited.
It really is. It's like, it's so great because last year you were learning how to pull, you know, it all together the first time.
Yeah.
And this time, just seeing you sort of flow into it, it's just been lovely.
The designs, I mean, 2 of them are on the floor blocking down there. Actually, I'm not going to show you.
No.
Because it's a mystery club, isn't it? I'm not going to show you. But yeah, 2 of them I'm half finished, so 1 sock's done, and I'm just thrilled with them. Really, really thrilled.
What we are starting, because we know we had such a big response from you guys with regards to Kay starting to show designs.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start a regular design diary series where secret designs, which Kay can't show pre-launch, you will film and we'll put that out after the pattern's launch. So you get to see, because it's so cool, from my point of view, it's so cool seeing these things take shape. And it's one of those things that we'd really like to try and capture. so that you can sort of go on that journey a little bit too. We tried to do it a little bit, and we did with the bits and bobs.
Yeah.
And we also did with one other as well. I can't remember which one it was, but you'll find those series on the website if you go to behind the scenes. Or is it Knit Along with Kay?
Knit Along with Kay was called,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was Knit Along with Kay. So there's Knit Along with Kay tab on the www.bakerbears.com/watch/. If you go on to Knit Along with Kay, you'll find a couple of little series. But what you're going to do is a regular little series where you talk about designs you're working on.
Yeah.
So that will be
fun,
super fun.
I think I'm a bit kind of nervous about it because I don't like just being on the camera by myself.
No, you won't be. You'll be showing designs and talking about techniques.
I know, but you won't be sat by the side of me, will you?
You can just sit, because people need to see what you're working on.
Right.
They don't need to see your face.
Really?
No.
Oh, right, okay.
Let's keep her.
I don't
look,
like
at the end of the day,
myself.
What's most important is you need to see what she's working on and hear her saying about, all the different things coming together. So we'll film it in exactly the same way.
A quick flash of me and then.
Okay.
That sounded wrong.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So don't panic. There's nothing to be nervous about. Folks, we're overrunning. So look.
Oh, gosh.
We'll have to bump.
It's 3 o'clock.
We wanted to touch a little bit on what's on your TV, but we'll do that next time. But we found a new series and we're addicted. So we'll tell you all about that next time. And actually, it will be good to know. I can't remember the name of it. So I'll ask you next time. There was something I was going to ask you about, a TV show, but I forgot to make a note. So I'll ask you next time when we do that. But what's coming up this month? Swish and Plick. Swish and Plick. Swish and Plick. Swish and Flick pattern 3.
That could have been really tricky, that, couldn't it?
And it's my favourite pattern.
Yes, pattern 3 is Dan's favourite, and that's based on obviously the Azkaban.
Let me tell you, folks, this was the pattern which made me say you had a wild side.
It's really not.
Oh,
it's
really?
Really not.
Really?
I don't think so.
Please take me by the hand and show me another design anywhere that looks like it.
Hot. Well, no, I haven't seen anything like
exactly.
I haven't seen anything like it either, and it's a nice.
Just be careful.
Okay, I won't. I was going to give you.
She'll give something away.
Then.
Don't give anything away.
I better not.
Honestly, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great thing. And one of my test knitters actually has knit 2 of the things she said she wanted to knit again. And she's knitting another burrow wrap. She's on the 2nd burrow wrap, and she's going to knit another one of the 3rd pattern. So that to me,
it's cool.
I was thrilled when I said, "Oh gosh, I can't believe you want to knit another one." So I think that's telling me that she really liked.
And the Clementine story in the 3rd pattern starts to get a bit.
I don't even know that.
Starts to get a bit exciting.
I don't even know that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
More controversial reviews from Kay are coming this month. After your very controversial Bullwinder review, but it was so wonderful to hear from so many people that they'd had exactly the same problem.
I'm glad
with
it
the
wasn't just me. I
If you haven't seen that, folks, it's in the reviews section on the website.
I worked out a way of making that winder better cake actually, and it was to have the Swift on the same level as the Bullwinder, which is a tricky thing to do because I've now got an umbrella Swift, which I don't really like anymore. I used to have one of those windmill ones that's like goes around like that. Now I've got an umbrella one that goes like that, which means that the yarn is coming down like that to your Bullwinder. I found that if I put the umbrella Swift on a chair down here so that it's on the same level, it winds a better cake. Still not very good, but it's usable.
Grey Nomad Knits has just been talking to Diana Lover, and I think it's spell checked to Diana Lovato.
Oh, that sounds glamorous, doesn't it? You sound Italian all of a sudden.
It maybe. What's that singer called? There's somebody Lovato, isn't there? There's a singer.
I've never heard of it.
Yes, you all know.
No, you don't.
They do.
Lovato.
Somebody Lovato.
I've never heard
of
I
can't remember. Demi Lovato.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Brilliant.
Diana's daughter.
Is it Diana's daughter? Yeah.
So yeah, more controversy. Okay, we're heading to Mrs. Pumphrey's house for tea and cakes in the quest for the perfect slice of cake.
We are.
All creatures great and small. Mrs. Pumphrey, Tricky Woo.
Yes.
House that she used to live in.
The actual house. We found out. Amazingly found out that it's now like a little antique shop and a little cafe that sells cakes and scones and cups of tea.
So
Got
Kay
to
will
go
be
there.
Mrs. Pumphrey for the day.
I will.
We need to get you a little tricky woo.
I need a tricky woo. I do.
Oh.
That also sounds wrong.
Yes. And the next pop, ladies and gentlemen, will be on the 28th of July
Gosh.
at 2 p.m.
20th.
British summer time.
Can't believe we're July tomorrow, aren't we?
I know. So, folks, thank you so much for watching. It's been, do you know what?
What? Sorry, I was reading comments. Sorry.
It's been wonderful.
It's been wonderful.
Yes,
Today?
I feel refreshed. This has been my favourite ever pop.
Oh, why is that?
It just has.
Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? It's felt fun and
because they all rule.
You do all rule. You all rule. Did you know that?
So
you can go away now and say to your families, do you know what? I rule.
So thank you so much for watching. We will be back with all the usual over the next 2 weeks. Don't miss the next show, episode 129, because we're going to be going to a shop that Prince Charles loves.
Oh, yeah.
And I went and looked at it and I want to go now. I am slightly worried though because of my dicky tummy, but
I know.
I'm just going to eat.
Pork pie. We'll just have to be careful. Just
There's a lattice one. My stomach's rumbling right now.
I know, but we just don't have to buy a massive one like that, do we? We'll just get a small one.
Yeah. I think Bryony needs to experience pie and peas.
Well, she likes pork pie.
Yeah, so we should make her have pie and peas.
She doesn't like mushy peas. She won't eat mushy peas. She's offended by mushy peas. She loves normal peas, but not mushy.
Look, people are going to bed.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We're going to let you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. See you on the 28th of July for the next pop, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for an absolutely stonking new adventure.
Yes.
Thanks so much,
See you
folks.
soon,
Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.